again and welcome back to FitTRAC Coaching. My name is Chelsea and I am a coach here at FitTRAC, where we help busy parents and professionals over the age of 40 become happier, healthier, and stronger, all from the comfort of your own home. And today I want to talk to you guys about 3 diet myths that actually can do more harm than good. So stay tuned. We've all heard myths about diets. We've all heard the fad diets. We've all tried fad diets at some point in our lives, but I'm going to give you 3 of the biggest offenders that I've seen over the years. Myth number 1 is you always have to restrict. That means absolutely no treats. That means absolutely no deviating off of your diet. This intense restrictive diet can actually do more harm than good, because what ends up happening is we go. We refuse ourselves to ever have anything in moderation, any kind of balance in our meals, and we end up binging at some point. We end up crashing, burnout, binge, and then it is just over from there. It is really hard to come back from that. So what you might see in the first several weeks or even several months of this heavily restrictive diet is really good results. You might see weight dropping really quickly, but what you also might notice is that your cravings are probably getting a little bit more intense over time. You're starting to maybe eye that piece of cake or whatever your vice is. You might start looking at it and maybe even being a little bit resentful of the fact that you can't have those things. But the thing is, let's say you reach your weight loss goal. You lose that 10, 15, 20 pounds, whatever it may be, and then suddenly you're like, okay, I don't have to restrict anymore. I can have all of these things again. So issue number 1, you go right back to how you were eating before. And then what ends up happening is you gain all that weight back. Issue number 2 is you are still on that diet goal. You haven't quite reached it yet, but you've hit that burnout, that peak, and suddenly you're binging. You're binging all the foods that you have told yourself you absolutely cannot have in your diet. And not only are you probably gonna gain weight if you keep doing that, but you're gonna not only gain the weight that you had lost, you might even end up gaining extra weight. So that is myth number 1. Overly restricting your diet. Myth number 2 is that carbs are the enemy. So at every point in time, there is some new fad diet that comes and goes. Right now, it seems that the keto diet is very, very popular. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with a fad diet or the keto diet, so long that it is healthy and balanced. Similar to diets like the gluten-free diet that was really popular a couple of years ago, what you are actually doing is just cutting calories. So if you think about it, you're cutting out breads, you're cutting out any kind of carbohydrate that you might have usually typically had, and you're replacing it with something else. What that ends up doing is cutting those carbohydrate calories. Every carb has 4 calories. So the more carbs you cut out, the more calories you're cutting out. And then you end up losing weight because you're now at a calorie deficit. That's all it is. If you ended up cutting out carbs completely, but you replace them with really calorie-dense meals, just a ton of cheese or something that is in replacement of those carbs, you're probably not going to see much weight loss because you're probably not at that calorie deficit still. If anything, you might even be over your calorie limit. So myth number 2 is that carbs are not the enemy. Nothing is technically the enemy. You want to do everything in moderation. You want to have balance in your diet. Again, there's nothing inherently wrong with doing something like the ketogenic diet if it's working for you. But what I usually tell people who ask me, should I start the keto diet? Should I start the paleo diet? Should I try to go gluten-free? You know, I heard about intermittent fasting. Should I try that? I tell them, look, all that really matters at the end of the day is that you are at a caloric deficit. You are eating less calories than you are burning if you're trying to lose weight. So as long as it is a balanced diet, you're still getting in those nutrients that you need, And if you really truly think that it is going to be sustainable for you, go for it. Carbs are not the enemy, fat is not the enemy, protein is not the enemy. You need all of those things in a balanced, moderate way. And the reason that these fad diets can become more harmful than good for you is if they are not sustainable for the long term. So go back to myth number one, that over restrictive diet that you're doing, ending up binging and gaining all that weight back plus some. That is exactly what you're gonna see with these fad diets too, if it is something that is not sustainable for you. And before I get into myth number 3, if you are liking this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And as always, subscribe for more content just like this. We have a lot of videos that go over diet, nutrition, weight loss, exercises. So if you are enjoying this, please don't forget to subscribe. And lastly, myth number 3 is that you should not eat after a certain time of night. So I've heard from a lot of people that their secret to losing weight is to make sure that they don't eat after 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. If you are restricting yourself to eating only between certain hours of the day and making sure that you're not eating after a certain point of night, that is fine if that works for you, but it can end up doing more harm than good if you are one of those people who tries to get in so much food before that time slot at night. So let's say you don't want to eat past 8 p.m. You're stressed out the entire day because you know that you cannot eat past that time. What if you're out enjoying a movie and it's from 6 to 8 p.m. but you haven't had dinner yet? Sure, you could have dinner at 5:30. You're gonna come home from the movie at 8:30, and then you're gonna be probably a little bit hungry, but you've told yourself you cannot eat anymore, right? So you're gonna, try to go to bed around 9:30, 10, hungry. Now you haven't eaten for 4 hours or so. You're gonna end up doing more harm than good to your body by going to bed hungry or eating all of these calories in that short time period that you can. You might not even be in a calorie deficit at the end of it. So those are my top 3 diet myths that can actually do more harm than good. If you did enjoy this video, if you learned something new, please again make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends so that they can go ahead and subscribe as well. And if you feel that FitTRAC may be a good fit for you, go ahead and click the link down in the description box below. You can get in contact with one of our coaches and we will see if we are a good fit to work together. All right, see you next time. Bye.